Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Yes, it is me, Shahid Ramzan, Assistant Professor of Economics at Government Graduate College, Patoki. Today, it is the first lecture of our series on economics. First of all, we will discuss the meaning of economics and then the historical background of economics. The word economics, which is present today, is its origin is the combination of two Greek words which are oiko and nomos. These are two words, oiko and nomos. These are two Greek words. Oiko and nomos means how the expenditures, the system, the operations, and different functions of a house are made. It means how the household makes his expenditures, runs his other activities, and after sometimes this word became economics, which is present today. We should keep in mind there is no unanimous definition evolved yet of economics. Each school of thought has made its own definitions. Now we come to the historical background of economics. Let's keep in mind that the first book on economics was written by Adam Smith, who was a resident of Scotland in 1776. The name of his book is An Inquiry into the Wealth of Nations, shortly known as Wealth of Nations. Adam Smith and his followers are known as classical school of thought. Then there is second phase of neo classical school of thought. It started in 1890 when Dr. Alfred Marshall wrote his book Principles of Economics in 1890. Then is the third phase, which is known as Keynesian school of thought. It started in 1936 when Lord Keynes, who was also a resident of Great Britain, he wrote his book General Theory of Employment, Interest and Income in 1936. Then the fourth main phase of the economics is monetist school of thought. It started in 1957 when Milton Friedman, who has been a professor of economics at the University of Chicago in USA, who in 1957 wrote the book A Theory of Consumption Function. He he means the Milton Friedman also won the Nobel Prize of Economics. Now, in the modern era in which we are living, it should be kept in mind that the modern economists of the day include both classical school of thought and neo-classical school of thought in the same line. They say that the basic thoughts of classical and neoclassical are same, so they should be grouped in the same group. So the today economists do not differentiate between classical and neoclassical. They keep both of them in the same group, that is classical. Now we come to the Keynesian school of thought. Actually, Keynes wrote his book in a reaction to the classical school of thought. The theory of classicals, when we deeply study the thoughts of classical economists, we come to know that there are two pillars of their theories, of their thoughts. One, non interference of the state in the economic activities. The classical were of the view that the government, the state should not intervene, should not interfere with the economic conditions, with the market conditions, with the market forces. It should leave the market decide all its decisions by itself. Government should play the role of facilitator. It should not intervene, it should facilitate the market forces that are demand and supply. And second pillar of their thought is the full employment. The classical were of the view, they had argument that there is always full employment in the economy, and if there is any unemployment in the economy, it will be resolved. It will be resolved through the built-in forces of the system of the market. And if there is unemployment, if unemployment is created by any reason, the market forces will drive the economy towards the full employment, and finally full employment will be achieved and gained and attained. But in 1929 to 1933, the world witnessed the Great Depression of the world. It is called the Great Depression of the world, which the world witnessed in the 19 from 1929 to 1933. It was seen in that period that the thoughts of classical were falling. There was no solution for the depression that started occurring in 1929 and continued up to 1933. It was seen that the classical school of thought had no suggestions for its solution. So, Lord Keynes, who was also a resident of Great Britain, he wrote his book in 1936, General Theory of Employment, Interest and Income, in which he rejected the theory of full employment and also the non-interference. He said that when problems are created, when unemployment is created, the built-in forces, the market forces cannot resolve the issue, cannot resolve the problem by itself. The government should come into play and should interfere the market to resolve such problems. So it was the main theory of Keynesian, which we will study in the coming lectures of this series. Now, at present, we confine ourselves only to the brief history of this school of thoughts. Then the fourth school of thought, which is called monetist school of thought. It started in 1957 when Milton Friedman, the American economist, well known and well reputed economist, wrote his book in 1953. Its name is A Theory of Consumption Function. In this book, Milton Friedman emphasized that money is not neutral. Money has an important role to play in the economy as against this, the classical were of the view that money is neutral. It is just medium of exchange. It has nothing to do with the real variables of the economy. But Milton Friedman opposed this argument and rejected this argument and based his theory on the assumption that money has a vital role, a very important role to play in the economy. When prices are affected, the whole economy is affected by this. So money is not neutral. It should not be considered neutral. Then there is an other school of thought which is called supply side economist, and they were popular in 1970s and 1980s. But the era in which we are living, the monetists still have more weightage and more importance as far as the economics is concerned. Inshallah, in our upcoming lectures, we will start the third year, which is the syllabus of Punjab University, Sargodha University, and other universities. We will start it particularly emphasizing on the syllabus. So far, it is okay. Allah Hafiz.